everyone, welcome back. I'm Domingos. I'm also known as DMA and appreciate when I'm called DMA. So today we have this inequality problem to solve whereby we have a composition of trigonometric function, multiplying and radical function. Okay, so we have that the radical function is being multiplied by the trig function, and the product of these two expressions has to be greater or equal than 0. Solving inequality, in other words, is analyzing the sign of a function to see where in the graph or when the real line the function behaves as a positive and behaves as a negative. Okay, so the product of this expression will be equal or will be greater or equal than 0 if the first condition, if they are both greater than 0 first, this one greater or equal than 0, and the second expression greater or equal than 0. Because let's say if they are both positive, multiplying will still be greater than 0, and if they are 0, multiplying will still be greater or equal than 0 because of the condition that we have there. But this is not the only condition. If we see there is only square root of a positive number, we can never have a square root of a negative number. So the other condition could be, or since this expression can only be positive, and we already stated here, if they both positive, then the other condition that may satisfy our inequality is saying that the expression then being equal to 0. Why? Because when they are both non-negative, they will satisfy the condition, or if the other part, which is the expression inside the square root, is 0, because if this is 0, 0 multiplying anything here will still be 0. Okay, so to solve now, we have to analyze first this problem. So here we're going to have sine of x is going to be greater or equal than cos of x. Sine of x greater or equal than cos of x. If we check in the trig circle, we have 0 here, 2 pi, we have 45 here, 225, which is the same as 5 pi over 4, and here it's pi over 4, which is the same as 45 degree, and here it's 225 degree. Okay, here is 0, here is 90 pi over 2, here is pi, here is 3 pi over 2. We realize that if I make a straight line at this side, sine is always greater than cos. If you check sine of 45, it will be greater or equal than cos of 45. If you check 60, 90, if you go until 225 degree, sine will still be greater than cos. So for this particular inequality, we can say that our x belongs from the interval from pi over 4 to 5 pi over 4. Okay, so this is the solution of this inequality. The inequality. So if we now analyze this one, this is a quadratic function. We can first find the roots of this function, solving this as an equation. So we can make like x squared minus 5x plus 4 equal to 0. This is equivalent to that. If we solve this equation, finding two numbers that are multiplying is 4 and they add up to minus 5. Obviously, we're going to have here minus 4 and minus 1. If we multiply 4, if we add minus 5. Okay, so x is going to be equal to 1 or x is going to be equal to 4. Now, how do we solve the quadratic inequality? We go into the straight line. We have 1 and 4, the real line. We analyze the value of the coefficient. We analyze the sign of the coefficient of the term that has exponent 2, the term squared. So if we check the sign is negative, so the negative stays outside the interval, and the sign opposite to negative becomes inside the interval, which is plus. Since our inequality is greater or equal than 0, so a number is only greater or equal than 0 if it's 0 or positive. In other words, we will need the positive part here. That's going to be our solution. So that means this is the solution for this particular case, the solution I can call solution 1 will be interval close from 1 to 4. Okay, so this end in maths means intersection, so I have to intercept this solution and that solution. Okay, so if I have to find the solution, then I'm gonna have, this is pi over 4, which is 3 over 3,14, because when we're using in the real line, then we consider pi as geometric pi, which is approximately 3 over 3,14. So if for this case, that means then 3 pi over 4 will come first, because 3 over 4 will be 0, something. And then we have 1, then we have 1. And then what comes next? 5 pi over 4. Okay, so then we have 5 pi over 4, and then we have the 4. Okay, now this interval is from here to here. They belong, so let me just put this parable. And this one is from 1 to 4. So let me put the line like this. So we see that the intercept here, it's where these lines they meet. So I'm gonna call solution 2 will be and cross interval from 1 to 5 pi over 4. Okay. So if we check, this is the solution 2. It's not the whole solution. Let's analyze this equation now. But solving this equation is the same as solving the equation that we just solved here. We know that for this equation, x is equal to 1 or x is equal to 4. So since this equation, I can call solution 3, which is 1 and 4. Okay. And now this O in maths, in this case of inequality, it's meaning union. So that means we're going to have the total solution will be S2 union with S3. But if we check, in this solution we have 1. So when a set is union with its subset, it's always a set. And the numbers that are not in the set. So that means we're going to have here this interval here, union with 1 and 4. But since here there is already 1, that means it's gonna be from 1 to 5 pi over 4 and 4. Okay, so this is the solution of this specific inequality. Okay. So if you enjoy, leave your like, your comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share with your friends.